Okay, on our way to a service call for a grid-tied system that's got solar as well as wind. Now, I don't know much about it except it's a larger horizontal propeller-style wind turbine, and he's got 4 tracking systems. He said he used to have a battery bank, but something happened with the batteries, so he took those out after one of the 2 big inverters blew. So he wants me to come take a look at the system, see if there's anything we can do about it to get it all up and running again.
As we enter the client's property and come to the top of the driveway, we can see off in the distance there the Whisper 500 wind turbine mounted on an 80-foot pole with guy wires all the way around.
Okay, great. We'll go down around the bottom, and we'll start on the outside and go on the inside. And
Sure, now, as far as you know, the wind turbine works, it just hasn't...
it works.
Okay, it works.
Yeah, it needs a bearing on the end. It squawks a little bit at times. What I'm looking for is options. 1, what's it going to take to get it going?
Yep.
2, what would it take to get it going, and when would you do it?
Sure.
So I need a quote.
Sure.
Because I'm selling the place. So
Yeah, I saw that coming in.
it might be that we get a quote, I sell the place, and then I just build that into the transaction.
Sure.
And so we know what we're doing. Third is I decide that it's not worth it, or you tell me that it's just going to take too much.
Well, I'll tell you if
I
it
just
is.
salvage it out and be done with it.
Sure.
So that's
How long has all this been in
in 1999 to get ready for the 2K.
Oh,
Prior
Y2K.
Prior owners were all worried about Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K.
And so they put in, I was told, I was just putting in $100,000 to put the system in. There's the 4 trackers.
Okay, as far as you know, those work.
Yeah, I mean, they're old solar panels, but maybe probably not as efficient as the new ones, but I don't see there's many physical damage to them. Over there in the corner, the gray box,
Sure.
that's the brake.
Sure.
The wind generator. If things get crazy windy out there,
You
I
can
can
shut it off.
flip a switch and that puts
Okay.
the brake on before it gets out of control.
Cool.
So, there's your double inverter set up, the top one.
Let's make sure we get a good angle.
Yeah. This is burned. You can see the top of the. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it just burnt. I don't know what the deal is, but
Things happen, especially with electronics. Okay, and then what did you have for batteries?
but this room was full of batteries. 120 deep cell, 6 volts, I think.
6 volt.
Rows and rows and rows of them hooked up by those cables.
So there's
So if it's 6 volt, we could probably go 12 volt and get 4 batteries. Probably be enough. It might be 8 though. We'd have to see. They're talking about putting 50 batteries in there. They're probably going to be somewhere around 300, 350 a piece for batteries.
And 4 of them, you say?
Yeah,
Why
probably.
4?
To get 48 volts. I'm sure this is a 48 volt system. So, I mean, we could get 8 6-volt batteries, but then that's going to cost you more.
Okay, well.
Okay, so anyways, you were saying this is the wind, that's the solar system. You saw where the batteries go. You only want enough to get the system running. And what I'll do is I'll identify this and see what the modern equivalent is. Because my guess is that's a little bit out of warranty. Well, yeah, they're 10 years probably back then. They had 10-year warranties, so I'm sure it's probably out.
The lower one, I'm sure works. The upper...
It may be, though. It might just be better to replace both. You know, they could very well be cheap enough to do that compared to what they used to cost.
I'm open to that. But
And if you did that, though, you know, it's like in a car when the taillight goes out, you replace both of them because the other one's going to go out soon, too. You know, and that's with this inverter being old and that not, all of a sudden you might be, or whoever's next might be giving me a call. And then at least that way you can say the whole solar system's up and running and you don't have any issues with that. And it's just a matter of the wind turbine.
Okay.
All right, if we look at all 4 of these, they're all kind of off because they're old and they need to be readjusted, he said, but also the heavy snow caused them to tilt down this year. So you never know what's going to get in your way and what you got to take care of with these systems. That's good.
There are 4 trackers and 2 inverters in the house, so that's 2 trackers per inverter. Each inverter is 4 kilowatts, so that is 2 kilowatts per tracker split up among the 16 modules. And hey, check out that bird's nest.
Those, I think, are the newer models.
What Larry's saying is right here in the corner you can see the photo sensor that helps this thing follow the sun, and they all have one, and he's had to replace 2 out of 4 of them over the years. Now the interesting thing about these systems as well is you can notch it and change it depending on the angle of the sun, depending what time of year, so you can maximize your efficiency.
So what about these solar, you know, these are Siemens is the brand name here.
Yeah, that's a good name.
So I've been told that the life of them are, you know, 20 years or so.
These were probably 20 when they were put in, but that doesn't mean they don't work. How the rating goes on solar modules, and of course the depreciation is better now than it used to be, is that over the course of 20 years, this one was probably guaranteed to be operating 80% of its original capacity after 20 years.
Oh.
Nowadays it's 85% after 25 years.
Oh, that's pretty good. Could be happy with that.
So they're still going to keep working.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an issue. You know, and you're going to. Well, do you have a monitoring system for all of these?
What would that be?
Online, where you can see what's working and what's not?
Oh,
No, so you'd have no idea if any of these are good or bad.
no.
Except, well, unless the inverter told you. If the inverter's operating, it's going to tell you if it's because what happens is these things, if you like get one shaded, it can take down the whole system. Okay, with string inverters like you have in there, and then you'll be able to tell, like 3 of these are working and feeding the inverter, but this one's not. Well, that means that one of these modules must have an issue. That's about as close as you can come on a system like this to diagnosing. Then you have to come through and you have to take readings on each individual one until you find it.
So the new inverters have some kind of an online,
They all do.
you know, dashboard that you can look and see what's working and what's
Yeah,
what output.
and there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can put what's called an optimizer on back here and still have the string inverters you have in there, or you can have what's called a micro inverter, which each individual module puts out 240 AC, and you plug them together. You run them all down through a combiner box and a disconnect, and you're done. You don't have anything in the house. It's a lot simpler. And then you get online and you can monitor online from wherever you are on your cell phone. Enphase is great about that.
That'd be great to see, yeah.
Well, if you move somewhere and you think about putting it in again, that's the way to go.
Well, I'll tell you what I like. I like the wind, because the generator just going all the time. Doesn't take much
Sure.
to keep it going, you know?
Yep.
And so I like that. Solar, you know, cloudy days, I don't know what the efficiency is on it and stuff like that, but having both kind of covers everything. And I like that whole idea. That's why I'd like to get it going. Instead
Sure.
of cloudy days, I'm losing this, or no wind days, I'm losing that.
Okay.
Tilts it up.
Yep. As we can all see right here, we got a 2-pipe configuration. This one comes all the way out to that end. Now, what happens when it's time for the turbine to come down is you got a winch on either side, and you just tip the whole thing like this, so you can get at the turbine over there.
Well, all right. Thanks for coming out here.
No problem.
Great meeting you.
Yep, nice
Appreciate
meeting
your
you.
time. Nice meeting you too. So, yeah, let me know what you think.
As I'm leaving the property, I'm thinking the next video needs to be about the proposal.
Okay, well, we stopped by and we saw that he's got a 80-foot tall micro wind turbine. He says works pretty well. That should be fine. Looks like he's got 2 old inverters, one that obviously blew up or burnt up. So we're going to do our best to see if we can find him a couple of inverters to replace them. And he doesn't want a big battery system. It used to have a big battery system. He just wants enough to get the thing up and running. So if the power's out, they can run some of the stuff. So we're going to take a look, see what we can find for him, and see if we can't convince him the best thing to do is to fix this system up.